Little break in the weather. 70 degrees today. Thought this would be a great time to show you guys some compost. You've never probably seen compost like this. And we've been living off grid here in our log cabin for 11 years. Over a decade now. Wow. And this is the preferred method that we have used since we've been here. Here, let me show you something real quick about this compost. And I think you'll get a kick out of it. I want to show you this. Here, there's some little peppers in there. Got a couple peppers in there Stacy must have put in. But as I'm opening up this compost pile, I want you to notice something. Are you noticing anything? Well, it's kind of dry, so that means it's been getting hot in there. That's good, because you want your compost pile to be hot. And look how rich and airy everything looks, right? Now this compost pile isn't even ready yet. Okay? So I'm going to fill this compost pile up till the end of this year, which is, we have a little bit more time to go. See that? It's all dry in there. Looks like some good compost. And like I say, it's not even aged to perfection yet. It's got a little bit more time to go here until I stop adding to it. Okay? I'm getting ready to add right to it right now. That's why I'm opening it up. But I wanted to show you guys how it looks. And then what I'll actually do is show you what it looks like after its cycle. Okay? I want you to notice how far I'm going down into this pile, right? I mean, I'm way down in there. Okay? And I want you're seeing it all for yourself. This compost that we made. So I was talking about the cycle. So what we want to do with this type of compost is that you want to add to this compost pile for 1 year. Okay? So my schedule is from January to December. That way it's easy for me to remember. But you can pick any time that you want, but it takes about 1 year. So from January to December, we are filling up this bin here. And then at the end of December, which is coming up, we will not add anything else to this compost. Okay? And then it will sit undisturbed for 1 year. All right? Also, when you're doing this method for compost, you don't turn this. Okay? The only time it actually gets disturbed is when you go in to add more buckets and more compost, and then you'll open it up from the inside out like we did here, opening up the center, and then you'll add your buckets in, which I'm going to show you guys a little bit, and then I'm going to put the compost that we pulled out, I'm going to put that over the top of it, and then we're going to cover this with straw, and then I'm going to show you guys what this compost actually looks like after a year of sitting. And what it looks like totally cured and ready to use actually on the garden or anywhere around your property that you need compost. Okay? So you just take these buckets here and you just empty them right into your compost. Another thing that you'll notice about the compost pile is that you didn't see any flies buzzing around. You know, there wasn't any, you know, a lot of times people have the compost pile, you can't smell. That's why I was going on to the smell thing. And then I remembered that you guys can't smell. We haven't got to smell-o-vision yet. Because sometimes compost piles are a little rancid. You know what I mean? They have a smell to them. Again, been here a decade and we've used this system only. And we've never had a smell. We've never had flies. There's no problems with any animals getting in them. It's just been a dream. So we'll just keep adding these buckets here of what makes the compost. I have quite a few buckets to add, so I'll probably catch up with you guys in just a minute. I am notorious for letting the bucket stack up. But that's another thing about this compost system is that you can do that. You know, you shouldn't, maybe, but we do. and you can. But ideally, you'd probably want to have, you know, maybe 4 buckets. And you're just a little more aggressive at filling up your compost section. As for me, I'm trying to build a 11-acre homestead from scratch, off-grid with no public utilities, and I get a little busy. Ha! If you guys are following along on the root cellar, how'd you guys like the root cellar video? Stacy always does a good job. She loves taking you guys along and showing you the latest things going on with her setups. So she was real happy to show you guys that. And then the next couple videos we'll have some siding going on the Learning Center. So you want to make sure you guys are subscribed so you can follow along. I'll get a few more of these buckets going, and then I'm going to show you guys what we do next. Once you guys have all your buckets cleaned up, you just use soap and water. We use a biodegradable soap. And then you just pour the soap and water right into your box here with your compost. That adds a little moisture to it. Okay? And then you just cover it with the biodegradable material. Now I like to use the straw. Okay? And one of the secrets to this compost setup is if you can smell it, that means that you don't have enough cover material on it. Okay? So be generous with the cover material. That was a thermometer I put in there. So here's just some flakes of straw. We're going to put it all around here. Now you can also notice how high this pile is. One year ago, this pile was the same height. Okay, it was way up here. So I'm trying to show you also the contrast between an active pile and one that's basically ready to use for compost. There you go. Make sure it's all covered up. And if the pile wasn't so high, you would take the sides, and then you just kind of pull the sides back over the top. But in this case, I didn't really bother with it. I'm just going to put a nice cover material down, and it'll be just fine. It'll be almost like the first time when we ever made the pile. It's basically the same thing, where you have a pile and there's nothing to cover it with, so you just put your straw in there and it'll do its thing. So I have this all covered up right now, and I guess here, why don't we take you guys to show you where this actually starts, how this compost pile even starts, the very beginning of it, what goes in the buckets and all that jazz. So let's go inside. Alrighty, where it all begins. I don't know if you guys knew where I was going with this, but our septic system creates the best compost you could probably get your hands on. It really does. Okay. Now, it all starts right here. This is basically like a early 1900s, maybe 20s, 30s chamber pot, they call them. Okay, and this is the real deal. This isn't something that was fabricated lately. We actually have a friend of ours found this for us and got it to us here on the homestead, and we thought that was really cool. We just used a basic box made out of plywood before. It works really good. There's lots of different ways you guys can be creative on creating your own composting toilet with the 5-gallon bucket system. Okay, so basically there's your business right there, right? You sit there, do your business, and inside of there is the 5-gallon bucket. Okay, so you would sit down or stand up depending on what's going on, and after you do your business, we keep this bucket of sawdust right here, right? And now that we have the sawmill up front and also the wood processing set up, we have sawdust like nobody's business. Now, we have found over our 10 years of using this system that sawdust, okay, works the best. Okay? Now, one of the things, again, like we mentioned outside, is that if you guys use this system inside your house and you smell it, okay, that means you need more cover material, right? And there's other organic stuff that you guys can use for cover material, coffee grounds, leaves,
peat moss. You know, I've heard of a lot of different things that you guys can use to cover that. And again, there's a book that you guys can reference, okay? Because we didn't make any of this stuff up. These systems have been in place for thousands of years. And there's a book that you can reference if you're going to try the system or do the system here. It's called the Humanure Handbook, and you want to get your hands on that until I write our book. That's a great resource for you guys, that you guys can dig into this information and find out kind of how we strayed from this setup and some of the issues, right? Because like a lot of things, people do it wrong, and then maybe somebody gets hurt or sick, and then all of a sudden no one can do it just because someone made a mistake. So, you know, it's a very simple system, okay? You come in here and you use the restroom just like you would at your house normally. Oh, and the toilet paper is the exact same normal toilet paper you guys would get for your house normally. And then you would just do your business in here. Then you would cover it with the sawdust. 1 scoop, 2 scoop, 3 scoop, 4. Oh my goodness, too much fun. And then that's it. And then when the bucket fills up, you slap a lid on it, and then you either take it outside and you can put it right into your compost pile, or you can, you know, stack up several buckets and do one at a time as far as emptying them out. So if you want to stash out 5 buckets, make that your rule, and every 5 buckets, you know, you're out there cleaning them out. Now for Stacy and myself, we usually almost 2 weeks we go with a bucket, okay, week and a half, 2 weeks. When the grandkids are over here, we're going through buckets pretty fast, you know, maybe a bucket will last. Now we have 4 grandkids, 3 grandkids, 5 total. 3 grandkids that are coming over here and actually using the system. So when they're here, me and Stacy, we're probably changing out the bucket once 4 to 5 days, you know, maybe right around in there, 4 to 5 days. So it's really not that big of a deal. Now I know also that this system, this composting system, is used on a large scale. This is totally scalable. They use these at rock concerts and all kinds of large gatherings with people. Okay, so it's just a great system. It gives back to the environment. I didn't know if you guys knew where I was going with this, but this compost that this thing has been producing, the proof's in the pudding. You guys see it in our garden, you see it around our flowers, all of our stuff around here. We use this compost, and you guys are seeing it firsthand. So let's go outside right now. We're going to open up the pile that was filled for a year and rested for a year, and then we're going to look inside that pile and I'm going to show you what's going on.
Okay, well, the bees are really loving it too. They're out buzzing around everywhere. Now, real quick, I want to talk about a few things before we move on, okay? When I said that you guys use sawdust in here, I don't mean like sawdust from your 2x4s that you buy at the store, or, you know, if you guys do some projects around the house and maybe you got this dimensional lumber from the big box stores. That's not what I'm talking about. You have to use raw, natural sawdust. So you got to hit a sawmill or something like that where you can get that stuff right off the tree, brand new, fresh sawdust. Okay, so that's important to know. You don't want to use dimensional lumber stuff. All right, I had a little bit of hay that I was stashing on there. And then as you can see here too, you know, birds roll through here, and it's already very fertile, I guess you would say, right? Some grass that's growing up in there. All right, I'm gonna bring you guys over to this side. So as we peel this open, all right, look at that. Beautiful, rich compost, okay? You've never seen compost like this, I'll guarantee you. But this is what is the byproduct and produces awesome garden produce and everything else. See that? That is some black, good stuff right there. Oh, I don't know if you have any good questions or not, but if you got them, leave them down below. We'd be glad to try to answer your questions. We've been doing this for over a decade. A lot of channels off grid on YouTube. I haven't really seen people really tackle this issue. I try to bring this to you guys because, you know, you're going to need this information if you're going to live this lifestyle, and this is going to be one of the things you're going to have to address is your, going to the bathroom stuff, right? So there's a couple of things you could do. You could get a septic system, like a traditional septic system where you flush all your water into it, which is a total waste of our natural resources, okay? And they're always needing to be pumped out. They fail. Okay, I've heard a lot of stories about septic systems, and for you that have had a septic system for 30 years and never had a problem, trust me, you're the exception, not the rule. Okay, I've done a lot of homework, and a lot of people have problems with their septic systems, and there are people that have had them for years and never had a problem with them. Okay, so that was one thing, and then the cost of it, right? That was one thing that we took into consideration when we were thinking about this, is the cost of it. Okay, so we didn't want to do the septic system. Okay. Also in our area, they do these things called lagoons, where you have your water and it flushes off over here somewhere, and they have like this pond that they fence off, and then everything goes in there. And the thought of that was just disgusting. So we didn't go with that one either. So we've tried to find the most, sustainable way we could handle it, and what's best for the environment, and definitely not wasting all that water is not good for the environment. Okay, so we have no water waste here. And what we get back is 100% usable here on the homestead. So it's a total win-win. Now what is going to happen here is Stacy will be closing down the garden for sure coming up. We do chop and drop. She'll walk you through the process of how we do that. And then we'll also be adding this compost on some of those beds and taking you guys along as we do that. Okay? So this video, I just wanted to talk about this. I wanted to show it to you guys because you've probably never seen it before. Okay? And it's awesome, rich compost. Now, if you're paranoid about this, some people are. It's not a problem. Some people will never use it, or you can put it on just, your regular trees around your place. Or you could also let it set an extra year, okay? So if you fill it up for 1 year, let it set for 2 years, and then use it, okay? But basically with the heat and the sun and the air and everything that goes on inside this pile, all the pathogens are killed. It becomes just good, broken down compost. So I hope that was pretty interesting for you guys. We like to bring you this full circle life here off grid on our homestead on 11 acres. So if you want to see more videos like this, and just kind of as we walk you guys along, as we're firing up the wood cook stove, we cook with wood heat, and all this stuff that's going on, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the all notifications so you're up to date with all the notifications and every time we upload a video. Also, if you are new around here, we're trying to give away a log cabin. It's not looking good for you guys yet, but it was just a fun contest that we thought we'd put up for this year, because this year's been pretty sucky for a lot of people. And we were going to give away a log cabin if we hit 1 million subscribers by the end of this year and 100 million views. We're about halfway there, and it's no big deal. I just thought it would be a fun thing for you guys. So if you want to try to make it happen, you can always spread the word, share it with your friends, put us on all your social media. But if it doesn't happen, it's no big deal, and we appreciate you guys showing up all the time just watching our videos. But if we don't hit it, I think we have some cool giveaways Stacy and I are going to do for you guys. So make sure you stay tuned, hit the subscribe button. If you got any questions about this, something I didn't cover, hopefully I got through everything, but if you have a question on something I didn't cover, just leave a message or a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay? Stay tuned for the next videos. We're going to be working on the Learning Center, and that's it, man. I'm pooped. See ya.